that one of the biggest companies that I was with, Universal Music, it's the second part of the ugly truth. We began to research things to check on my royalties and my statements and things that of that nature, only to find out a lot, excuse me guys, a lot of my publishing, a lot of my royalties, my mechanicals, they have all pretty much been stolen. As I begin to find out things that I never had to look into, because when you hire a team of people that, to some degree, supposed to have your back, you're thinking that they're getting it all together for you. You know, that's why, you know, I respect Oprah Winfrey in that respect when she said, do your own research. Angie Stone, the celebrity, that I let a lot of important things slip through the cracks only because I didn't know any better. I worked very hard to take care of my kids as a single mother, and I'm being transparent. My kids' fathers just were not doing what they're supposed to do. So I had to step up and go in and do everything that I needed to do for my family, which is why I worked so hard, which is why I traveled so much, which is why I did shows, because at the end of the day, after 40-something years in the business, I'm like, well, why? Where are my royalties going? Because I'm not getting this. Come to find out, Universal Music has been receiving all my royalties, all my mechanicals. They've taken pretty much everything. They've stolen, I won't say stolen, but they have taken all the monies that were due to me. They have basically absorbed in that company. And even though there's several class action lawsuits, people that were working on my behalf never even registered the songs. All the songs that I've done, I'm only coming to find out they were not properly registered by the companies that I signed over to. People that were supposed to do their due diligence. So I am truly a walking testimony that God has carried me all this time. Because if you only knew how much money they have taken from me, how much they have stolen from me, monies that I'm supposed to be, I should have been able to retire 20 years ago with the money I've made, supposedly. But there are key people that have been driving the ships. And what they've been doing is improperly representing me, improperly stealing from me, taking things in their own hand, changing and switching lanes because they knew I didn't know that part. See, I'm not an attorney. I don't know everything. What I learned how to do was go out, work hard, get paid, come home, pay my bills, take care of my family. That part. The legal side, when you hire attorneys and managers and agents, they're supposed to make sure the gray area over there that they're in the driver's seat for, they're supposed to make sure you're taken care of. And even though they were taking care of themselves, they thought very little of taking care of me. And I know because I've seen it with my own eyes. So I'm just here to let you know, one way or the other, Universal Music, you're going to have to give up my coins.
It turns out there might be way more to Angie Stone's tragic passing than anyone initially thought, because Jaguar Wright just came forward with some jaw-dropping claims about what was really going on behind the scenes. And if there's one thing we know about Jaguar, it's that she never hesitates to spill industry secrets, especially the ones that powerful figures don't want exposed. And this time, she's stirring up a serious conversation by suggesting that Angie's passing wasn't just some random tragedy, but something much deeper and more suspicious. According to Jaguar, there are forces at play here that go way beyond just bad luck. and she's making it clear that some major figures in the industry may have had a hand in what happened. Now, this claim is even more chilling when you consider what Angie Stone herself had been saying just weeks before her passing. She had taken to social media, letting the world know that she was gearing up for a major fight against some very powerful people in the industry. People she accused of stealing from her for years. And she wasn't just venting, she made it very clear that she was done staying silent and was ready to put everything on blast. But before she could follow through, she was involved in a devastating car crash. And out of everyone in that situation, she was the only person who lost their life. Now, Jaguar Wright is raising serious concerns about how all of this played out, and she isn't holding back. She's calling attention to unanswered questions, making it clear that something about this whole situation just isn't adding up. So what really happened? Was Angie Stone caught up in something much bigger than we realized? And was there more at stake than anyone knew? Before we dig deeper into these claims, let's take a moment to remember where it all started. Angie Stone, born December 18, 1961, grew up in a home where faith and music were deeply intertwined. Shaping her into the incredible artist and storyteller the world came to know and love. But as we're now learning, her story may have had some hidden chapters that are only coming to light now. From the moment Angie Stone was introduced to gospel music, it became the heartbeat of her life. Her parents made sure that faith and music were deeply rooted in her upbringing, and from a young age, she found herself drawn to the powerful emotions that came with singing in the church. Her voice became her instrument, and the church provided the perfect space for her to develop not only her talent, but also her spiritual connection to music. Her father, a dedicated member of a gospel quartet in Columbia, South Carolina, played a huge role in shaping her musical path. He often took her to live gospel performances, exposing her to some of the most influential voices of the time. Groups like the Singing Angels and the Gospel Keynotes left a lasting impression on young Angie, teaching her the importance of storytelling, vocal control, and stage presence, lessons that would stick with her for the rest of her career. By the time she was singing regularly at First Nazareth Baptist Church, her voice had already begun to carry the depth and soulfulness that would later make her a legend. Performing in front of a congregation built her confidence, and over time, she started exploring other musical genres, allowing her style to evolve beyond gospel. But her impact didn't stop there. While her voice became one of the most recognizable in R&B and soul, her contributions to hip-hop were just as significant. Not only did she collaborate with some of the biggest names in the game, but her influence played a role in shaping the evolution of hip-hop and R&B fusion, bridging the gap between genres in a way few artists had done before. By the age of 16, Angie Stone had already made history. She teamed up with Cheryl the Pearl Cook and Gwendolyn Blondie Chisholm to form The Sequence, the first ever female hip-hop group. Their talent quickly caught the attention of Sugar Hill Records, landing them a record deal and launching their groundbreaking hit, Funk You Up. Now, this wasn't just a catchy song. It became a blueprint for future artists. The track was later sampled by Dr. Dre and even helped shape the global smash hit Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and Bruno Mars. But despite their massive influence, The Sequence never received the proper credit or royalties for their work. This led to them taking legal action for copyright infringement, fighting for the recognition they had earned. Her career continued to evolve, and she quickly became known for her songwriting talent as well. As a solo artist, Angie Stone delivered 11 studio albums and left fans with unforgettable hits like I Wish I Didn't Miss You, No More Rain, Brother, and I Wanna Thank Ya. Her talent took her to incredible heights, placing her in rooms with some of the most legendary names in music. She worked closely with Prince and Lenny Kravitz, even showcasing her skills as a saxophonist for Lenny. She also teamed up with Lenny's cousin, Jerry DeVoe, to form a group called DeVoe, showing just how versatile and dynamic her artistry truly was. During this time, she and D'Angelo shared more than just music. They were also romantically involved. But despite the magic they created in the studio, their relationship behind the scenes was far from smooth sailing. Their time together had its ups and downs, adding another layer to the story of Angie Stone, a woman whose influence stretched across decades and multiple genres, leaving an impact that still reverberates through the industry today. Behind the music, things weren't nearly as smooth as they seemed. While Angie Stone played a huge role in shaping D'Angelo's sound, their relationship behind the scenes was far from perfect. Despite her major contributions to his music, his ego may have made it hard for him to fully acknowledge just how much she helped build his success. Rather than giving her the recognition she rightfully deserved, he downplayed her influence, and in the end, that became one of the biggest reasons they went their separate ways. And if that wasn't enough, Angie had to deal with yet another artist who seemed to be mirroring her every move. Jill Scott's record label allegedly had her studying Angie's style, from the way she dressed to the way she carried herself, almost as if they were trying to recreate her presence in another artist. It was one thing to be an inspiration, but it was another thing entirely to have your signature style intentionally imitated without acknowledgement. And to make matters even worse, Angie's own management team wasn't truly looking out for her best interests. Whether it was due to negligence, incompetence, or something else entirely, they dropped the ball far too many times. Some of her biggest career opportunities slipped away because the right people weren't advocating for her when they should have been. One of the biggest missed chances? Angie was originally supposed to land the lead role in The Number, One Ladies Detective Agency, a part that ultimately went to Jill Scott. That could have been a defining moment in her acting career, but due to mismanagement, the opportunity was completely lost. Now, here's where things take an even darker turn. Just weeks before her passing, Angie was reportedly preparing to take legal action against Universal Music Group, UMG, over unpaid royalties. After years of being shortchanged, she was finally ready to fight for what was rightfully hers. According to her, nearly everyone in her professional circle, her management, her label, had completely failed her. Her management team wasn't advocating for her, and her label allegedly took full advantage of that, reportedly pocketing millions while she kept working without receiving the money she had earned. It was as if everyone around her was sitting back collecting checks off her hard work, while she was left grinding and pouring her heart and soul into her music without seeing the financial rewards. The fact that Angie was so vocal about calling out the people who had wronged her has now raised a lot of questions. Some fans can't help but wonder if her car accident and the timing of her legal battle were just a coincidence, or if there's more to the story. Because let's be real, this wouldn't be the first time an artist faced mysterious circumstances after challenging major industry power players. The music business has a long history of silencing artists who dared to speak out about unfair treatment. And with Angie preparing to take legal action, some people can't shake the feeling that this situation might not have been just an unfortunate accident. Even the details of the accident have people raising their eyebrows. The fact that it was so devastating, yet Angie was the only one who didn't survive, has left many questioning how that could be. And to be clear, no one is suggesting there should have been more casualties, but for some, the details just aren't adding up. There's even speculation that something could have happened to Angie before the crash, which only adds another layer of mystery to an already suspicious situation. And then we have Jaguar Wright, who is making it clear that there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we've been told. She's claiming that Angie was silenced right before she was about to expose some very powerful industry figures. People who, according to her, didn't want their secrets coming to light. Now, this is wild. But considering everything we've learned over the years about the music industry and the forces that control it, should we really be surprised? But what do y'all think? Was Angie's accident truly just a tragic coincidence? Or could there be more going on than meets the eye? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's talk about it. And while you're here, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on the latest tea. Oh, and trust me, you do not want to miss this next video. It's about to get even deeper.